Welcome back to the Whiskey Edition. My name is Rob, and tonight we're going to do a long overdue recap of a weekend of bliss. A weekend of whiskey tasting that will go down in infamy. A weekend that you just can't repeat over and over, but I hope to get close to it again someday soon. And that weekend, believe it or not, was not Las Vegas, not Los Angeles, not even New York City. It was Spokane, Washington, with my friends the Lees and their fabulous stash of Total Wine winning liquor. And that is not liquor that is won at Total Wine, that is won the opportunity to purchase from Total Wine. So with that, I'll go through a few of the things that we did on the ramp up to the fabulous tasting that I'm going to repeat here. And you saw a little bit of an intro, if you could decipher that. And it was really a good weekend of whiskey tasting and fun and hijinks. And I'll put the pictures kind of in these areas over here. We started the weekend at I don't know exactly what the restaurant was, but they had a wall of whiskey. I'll put that over here. And they even have one of those ladder things that you have to climb up to get to said whiskeys. We went to the Dry Fly distillery. It is in downtown Spokane, and it has a couple copper pot stills, I guess you'd call them. They weren't giving tours, which was kind of a bummer. I was hoping to glom onto a tour. Maybe they're to register way in advance or something like that. But we had a flight of that Dry Fly, and I brought home what did I bring home? A bottle of, I think, the Triticale, and I also have a Distillarium Triticale, even though Dry Fly said they were the only ones in Washington State or wherever that were using Triticale in their distillate. So we'll try those two together and see which one's the better of the two, since both of them say they're the only ones. Well, I don't think Distillarium's saying that, but Dry Fly did, and I said, yeah, but there's this other one over here. So maybe they'll have like a cage match or something. So after that, we did some tastings that evening of some old Fitzgerald that they had. Went on a boat ride in I think it's Lake Coeur d'Alene, this giant lake on their giant boat. So that was pretty fun. And then went on a little whiskey hunt, kind of looked around, didn't find a whole lot. I'd say it was picked over, but I wasn't able to pack a whole lot back because I packed light and I flew. And so went to a couple liquor stores, and then we came home for the night. And was it Saturday night or Sunday night was the big night. And that was prefaced, or that was alluded to in a previous video, is why I was sucking up to him, to be blunt. And I gave him one of these, I think it's aged and ore travel sample kits. And in here is what we had tried. And they were nice enough to let me bring back some samples of what we tried so I could repeat for you, my tens and tens of viewers, what we sampled. And that would be Van Winkle 12, Pappy Van Winkle 15, and Pappy Van Winkle 20. Oh, and an Old Forester 150, but we won't worry about that one today. So, I'm not going to do the side-by-side blind thing, I don't think. I'm just going to pour a little bit in each one because, I kind of want to savor them for as long as I possibly can for real special occasions. They gave me some good pours for that sampling, so that was very nice of them to do that. So let me, I'll put a little bit in each of these glasses, and I'll do a little rundown of each of them. So this might be the speed up time. Need to pick out notes and whatnot. It's not great, but I'll try. I'll go the 12, the 15, the 20, and we'll do some tasting like we normally do, some water in between. And I'll put some pictures up. I'll put some pictures up here of me actually actually tasting them as we went through the evening. And we didn't do the full lineup. Up here I showed, you know, kind of the rundown of all the ones that we were going to drink over the weekend, and we didn't do all of them in one sitting. I think we did 3. We did the Van Winkle family, and we did the 1792s, and we did some Old Foresters anyway. And we did a Jack Daniel's Sinatra with the bonded and the triple mash that we picked up, and that was interesting too, but not like this. So let's get into this. This is a 12 Lot B. I need my wheel of notes because, like I said, I suck at picking them out. So I think it's got a little cherry. It's not super oaky, which is nice. It's not ethanol forward. It's just a very nice aroma coming out of that. Here's the 15. A lot sharper. Wow, a little bit too big of a whiff on that guy. We'll look and see what the proof rating is on the 3 of them, and I'll stick them here somewhere if I can find that out. Okay, I don't have many notes on this. I probably should have more, but I don't want to just spit out random notes that that aren't there, that I can't pick out. This one had cherry and not a lot of oak, and it wasn't ethanol forward. This seems to have a little more ethanol forward. I don't have any fruits on it so much. I don't know. So it doesn't. It just doesn't have the same kick to it, or it has more kick to it than the 12-year does. This is really fruit forward. I mean, coming from the 15 back to the 12, you really can pick out a lot of the fruits, whether it's cherry or something else. This, not so much in the 15. Now let's smell the 20. Probably should let these air out a little more, but I never do that, so why start now? The hard part is when you know which ones they are, you want to say, well, the 20 is going to be the best, so I really need to be able to pick that out. And if they were all mixed up, would I be able to rate them or whatever? But we kind of did that rating that night. We knew which ones they were, and we were still able to kind of rate them the way we thought they were best to worst. If you had a worst of these, the less good, because they're all pretty good. A little oak, which 20 years, that makes sense. I'm just not giving a good swirly here without trying to dump any out, the $20 drop. The 12 has the most the 12 has the most fruit forward of the 3 of them, that's for sure. And this one seems to be, I just picked up a little like an apricot on this, so maybe that's the fruit in the 20 that I'm getting. I don't get, maybe the 15 might have a little more spice to it on the aroma, on the nose, but definitely kind of a cherry fruit flavor on the 12, and maybe a little apricot on the 20, but not so much in the middle. It's weird. I just caught it as I moved it away, so maybe it wafted up on me or something. All right, so let's get into this. We didn't have any huge thing to celebrate other than it was Memorial Weekend. I hope I didn't say Labor Day. Memorial Weekend, and that's as good a reason to celebrate as any with a good bourbon. And tonight's just a good night. This is one of those times when I wish I had that kit. I think there's a kit for aromas and tastes that you can kind of pick those out, because there's a lot going on with the 12, and you can really feel it as it slides down your palate and into your throat. It's not sharp. It's it's got a little I don't know. It's really good, and it's not ethanol forward. It's got some really nice. I don't get the cherry that I got on the nose, but it's not baking spice forward. That's a big one. It's not super fruit forward. It's just got a nice good balance of taste to it. So let's do one little quick one. Yeah, it's just, smooth and drinkable, which is probably not great for a bottle that secondaries for $1,500. So I don't know. But it is it is very easy to drink, the 12-year. I wish I could figure out exactly what I'm tasting, but it is good. Have a quick drink of water here before moving on. I hope the barbecue I had tonight didn't kill my taste buds. It's pretty bland. I didn't get it hot or anything. So, all right, let's check the 15. The 15, as I remember, was a little harsher than the 12-year was, and not in a great way. It's got a little more bite on the palate. It's lingering a lot longer, which is fine, but it's definitely not as sippable as the 12. That's for sure. It's lasting significantly longer than the 12-year. That's for sure. The finish is the word I'm looking for. The finish. It's a lot hotter and a lot longer than the 12. You can really feel it on the back of your tongue as it goes down, and the flavor lasts a lot longer than the 12-year. That's for sure. What that flavor note is, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say what it is, because that would be disingenuous, because I could pick. It's got. Oh, I hear oranges. I feel some orange peel and a little banana note, and cardamom. That's it. I got the cardamom coming in, and I just don't think that's from a taste standpoint. It's a lot sharper and a lot more forward, that's for sure, than the 12-year was. Drink water here. And the other hard part of doing these three, especially with Dave Kira and the guys in the background here, is they're not serious about a whole lot of what they do, and I'm trying to be serious with these, and it's very difficult with them watching over my shoulder. Spinal Tap, as it were. Nigel Tuflin, something like that. This is the 20, Pappy Van Winkle 20. I don't think I've been into these. I guess I got an ounce. I just asked them for an ounce of each one to bring home, and we didn't kill the bottle, so they have extra for the next time, if there isn't. If they let me come back. And it was as I remembered. A lot of flavor, good finish, not overly forward, alcohol forward. It seems to have a better, less ethanol-y finish than the 15. It's got more bite I would say, than the 12, but not a bad bite like the 15 had. And it's really good. And the fruits you can really, maybe some apricot. Did I say that before? Kind of an apricot-y fruit taste coming forward. A little bit of spice, but not a ton. A nice finish. It doesn't linger as long, kind of maybe as the 15 does, depending on how you feel about that. How we ranked them that night, and you can see in the picture, I kind of did the who does that whiskey row guy? He kind of has the level thing, but we put the 20 at the top. It was the better of the three, and then the Van Winkle Lot B. The 15 was not as good as these other two. And tonight, these are kind of doing this. And I'm not trying to be, again, disingenuous with that and not doing it blind and all that, but I think I would have, the 15 still wouldn't have come to the same I wouldn't have come to the same conclusion with the 15 as I did with the 12 and the 20. And so, if you have the means, and there was a choice, I would do 20, 12, and 15, and even the 12 to me is a very good sipper, that's for sure. What I wanted to do was, we all know I don't even know what this is like regularly, a couple $100 or whatever for a bottle, secondary for a 15. I'll look it up and stick it up my nose, or I'll stick it somewhere over here, and that will hopefully tell us what the secondary bottle price is. What could you drink? It's 15 years old instead of a Pappy Van Winkle 15. So, hiding behind these guys, and yeah, I gamed it a little bit, said, oh, you weren't doing a true taste test because you didn't blind them together and all that. But I already kind of knew, and I wanted to validate, and like I said, I was trying not to be predisposed that the 15 wasn't as good as these other two. In my own mind, I validated that. I'm gonna move these two over here. Out of the way, I'm not going to throw them away, that's for damn sure. I've got some New Glencairns. This could be a night. Should have done the finger snap thing. So, what I have done is I've gone through the new liquor pantry now that I can figure out where everything is. And I've picked out 4 of the 15s that I have. I didn't take the Sam Houston 15. I've got the Calumet 15 that does not have a bug in it. That's a whole nother story. Dickel 15, I.W. Harper 15, and a Glenmorangie 15. So these are all 15s, just like the Pappy Van Winkle 15. I won't do the blind thing. I'm just going to say, hopefully I've got a little bit there, a little bit left, and I can kind of do just a quick taste between all the 15s and see if any of these 4 to me are better than the Van Winkle 15. So could you buy one of these instead? I think this one's really easy to find. This one's probably easy to find. This one's easy, I think. I think I got that online, and I think you can stumble across this in a store. It may not be as easy. So I'll fast forward all the uncorking. These haven't been opened yet, which the 20, I guess we opened that night. But unlike Northwest Bourbon's Infinity bottle, where he dumps the neck pour in each one, my mixing sucks, so I don't have one of those going right now. That's not already a disaster, so I won't do that. We'll just neck pour these, so that'll be good, because are the neck pours of 15-year-old Scotch and bourbons better or worse than a 15-year Pappy? So fast forward, or I'll cut through this and get these open. We'll put the Harper 15, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, aged 15 years, by the I.W. Harper Distilling Company, Tullahoma, Tennessee. So it has an age statement. It does not have the, what do you call it, the mash bill anywhere on here that I can see. They're saying on their neck, anywhere, anytime, it's always a pleasure. I don't know what they're talking about. Big cork action. There we go. Sort of read that. Huh. Great. This will go in the dry fly. And spillage. There's the 15 of that one. So the I.W. Harper 15. I smell glue. This one. This is the Glenmorangie. I smell the sea. Interesting, maybe it's... This is the Calumet Farm 15. Doesn't really smell like it came from a farm, so I guess that's good. Okay, don't really have anything to say about that one. Nothing is odd about it. And then the Big Springs for the Dickel. Oh, that smells so bad. God. All right, we'll start with the I.W. Harper on the taste. And then take a nose cleansing drink of water before that. Little ethanol forward. Finish isn't that great. It doesn't last that long. It's not too bad. Let's see if we get an odd taste coming up. Yeah. Doesn't seem anything all that exciting out of the I.W. Harper 15. I've got a regular I.W. Harper that's like 2 or 4 or whatever, and it's meh also. So okay, Glenmorangie, the Cadball Estate. So matured in American oak bourbon cask. So the lightest of them, let's see right here, compared to the Pappy, it's almost, I don't know, very, very yellow. God, it does smell like, kind of like if you were to take a walk on the beach. It doesn't taste like the beach. It's pretty smooth. No real sharp tastes or tones on the palate or on the finish. I'm not a huge, haven't really gotten too much into Scotch. This is almost the first foray into it. I think I've got a couple others that are open. It's just a whole nother branch of this whole deal. But I wanted to put it with it because seems like the Scotch is very easy to get, whether it's this 15 or I think I saw a Glenlivet 15, which is probably more maybe what I should have put in here instead of this one. That's not too bad. Skip over the Pappy 15. This is the Calumet. Doesn't really have a whole lot of nose to it. The 15 does have, going back to this. Oh, wow. That opened up a lot. That's got like a caramel now. Jeez. Maybe I'm doing this too fast. Well, Yeah, that opened up. What? That opened up a lot compared to these. The 20 opened up significantly more too. That's interesting. All right, Calumet. That has some flavor and some finish to it. And I don't know if it's not like oaky oak, but it has a good, almost like a campfire finish to it. Very interesting. I wasn't expecting that. And so well, I'll take another one on the way back. That was good. That was good. It's interesting. And the Dickel. Maybe I was too harsh to judge on the first sniff that I took, but well, the taste wasn't as overpowering as the first initial nose that I had on it. It's not my favorite of them. It's not bad. It's not too bad. So let's. Doesn't tell you much. Well, it's not too bad. Probably one of the more readily available 15s, other than this one probably. Okay, let's back to the I.W. Harper. It's very smooth. Well, it's pretty smooth. It doesn't have a lot of palate, and it doesn't have a lot of finish, but there's nothing overly overwhelming about it either. I guess it's just a mature bourbon. Wish I had the match bill on it. Yeah, 80 proof, 86 proof. Sorry, 86 proof. So it's not super hot like the Calumet is. What do we say the Calumet was? 105. Woo! Yeah, so it has a little more snort to it than the I.W. Harper for sure. And I will have to still get that one. Oh, no, stand by. It appears the 15 is 107 proof. So that's not super fair against that one. Let's see, what's the 12-year, 90 proof, and the 20 is 90 proof. So that might be part of the disdain that we're getting between, or the difference we're getting between them, and why the 12 is such a better sipper than the 15 and the 20, because the 15's coming in hot at 107 compared to, she's already forgot 90 and 90 or something like that. So they were, all right, probably should have had that before I started. Oh well. This one, did I have another taste of it? Is 43%, so that's 86. So it too is really low. The color for 15 is really interesting, like nothing. And again, it has just the nose of the sea. And I just don't know enough about Scotch. And again, my 3 Scotch viewers will probably yell at me, but that's okay. We're just looking at, would you buy anything of these 4 before this one, just for taste, not hype? So far, And it's got a good flavor. Don't get me wrong, the flavor is very good on the Glenmorangie 15. It's completely different, which is the point of the exercise. All right, water. Again, the Calumet high proof 105 has kind of the same bite to it that the Pappy 15 has. A lot longer palate and a lot deeper palate and a longer finish. And right now, of the 15s, the Calumet is actually, to me, a little bit better. I've got two other bottled and bond Dickels. I think one's an 11 and one's a 13 year. I'll just taste them with this Dickel 15. It's not fantastic, and again, trying not to be overly harsh on it because I know what it is. It's not awful. So if I were going to rack and stack these, not with this guy, not with the Pappy 15, I'd put the Calumet first. I'm hoping it's not because of the proof. Then I think I'd put so how am I gonna do this? This one, then this one, the Glamour NG. I just think it's not quite as, it's more interesting than these two. The Dickel I'll put on the last, and I'll kind of stick this one here like that. So that may not be fair because, Dickel, but it is a 15, and it's not too bad. It just has an odd flavor that maybe is just the way Dickel is. The I.W. Harper doesn't seem to have it has nothing bad, but it's not anything spectacularly standing out. And these all may be suffering compared to these two because of the proof, 105 and 107. So I'll just put these back where they were so I don't forget where they came from. We'll do the Calumet and the Pappy kind of in a side by side. And I did not do those glasses that way, it just worked out. So I have the water. It did open up. The nose had like a caramel or something that just jumped right out. Now I'm getting it now a little bit more on the palate. It's not as biting as it was before. I think those other two are still, to me, a little bit, the 12 a little bit better sipper, probably because of the proof. The 20 a little more flavor profile and nose, even with less proof. So this is the high proof dog. It's tough. The Calumet 15, it just has more flavor, and I'm not turned off by the flavor. It's kind of maybe it's just more of a charred oak flavor that to me is just has more interest. It's more interesting than the Van Winkle 15. And I don't think it's because I've killed my taste buds completely tonight, but we'll do one last back to back. It's tough. I don't know how those judges do that. Well, they have much more refined palates than this guy. It just is just a little too proofy is a bad way to put it. But man, that alcohol really smacks you. Really smacks you hard. And I don't think that's the point of it. Not the 12 and the 20, that's for sure. These other 15s don't have that either, but they're not as proofy. So the proof really comes forward in that. In this one, from Calumet, it's got, the proof comes through, but it's just got a little more interesting flavor for me. And again, I'm not trying to harsh on the Pappy Van Winkle 15. I'm not saying that the Calumet for everybody is better, but it seems to be a little more refined than the 15 is, the Pappy Van Winkle 15. So the Calumet Farm 15 just seems to have a little more refinement for being that high a proof than the Pappy Van Winkle. So these others, you know, I'm sure they're fine. Let's kick it in. The Glenmorangie probably isn't super fair to put in there, but I thought it'd be interesting to put in a Scotch with the other bourbons. Just, you know, if it's your profile, if it's your jam, you know, for a lot of people it is. It's not too bad. As a drinker, again, on the nose, to me it kind of smells like the ocean or whatever, which maybe is part of the deal. I mean, I haven't even figured out this whole peat thing. Peat, Sampras, peat, moss, peat. I don't know what the peat is, but I don't think this one has that going on. Oh, and it's a limited edition, so I got that going for me. Deep and creamy whiskey. Single estate barley, spirit of sweet creaminess. Yeah, I guess it's kind of creamy and it's not full and fruity. Orange and creamy vanilla candy. Well, I'm not getting any of that. But it's not awful. None of them are, well, the Dickel, I want to say the Dickel's awful. That's not fair. It's just not, compared to these others, it's in a league of its own maybe. And I'll put it up against the Bottled and Bond 11 and 13, and I think I've got a Dickel 8. Is that right? Dickel 8. And another, for some reason I've got a lot of them because I have a purchasing problem, not a drinking problem. Thanks for staying around this long. Like, comment, subscribe. I gotta do something with all these. I'm not gonna drain pour them. I'm going to drink them all, and you don't need to watch me drink them all. I'll finish off the 12 and the 20. And so what did we learn? You don't always have to pay thousands of dollars for a bottle if you can find one that's close. I didn't find one that was close. I found that this one, counting them at 15, for me, is pretty good. So the hype on the 15, I think I heard that people didn't like the 15 as much. The 12 and the 20, I highly recommend. Problem with the 12 being as good as sipper, it's a pretty expensive sipper, I think. And the 20 is really good too. So thanks for stopping by, and you know, like I always say, always pour a second glass because you never know who's going to stop by. And well, nobody's stopping by tonight, but I got extra glasses going for them. Thanks again, and thanks to the Lees for the hospitality over Memorial Weekend. And maybe I'll take some of this back in one of the aged in ore sample bottles, and they can see how they feel against counting at 15 against their Pappies. That'd be interesting. And if I run across some 12s and 20s of something else and see how they stack up against those, but those are going to be tough to beat, I think. So again, thanks for stopping by, and I appreciate it.